called the handpan. That's the name of the instrument. How's everyone doing? This a little energy cleanse. Okay, tribe. I pray everyone is in great energy. So I'm just here this evening to do a quick energy read, tap in real quick, get some messages out. I got some downloads that I wrote down. I'm not going to be pulling tarot. I'm going to tap in with the Worcester Tea and Telepathy Oracle. So we're going to pretty much find out what's going on. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, don't hesitate to move on away. This is not for everybody, right? And you would be selfish to think that it will always be for you. So this may not be for you, okay? So with no further delays, I'm gonna hop right into the downloads. And then, like I say, I'm gonna move into some messages. I might take some pause breaks because I'm feeling a little musical today, so. Okay, so first download. You can't blame them any longer. You can't blame them any longer. And I don't know who this is for. Not really even trying to figure out. I just write down the downloads, get the messages out. But I'll tell you, you can't blame them any longer. Which means that it's all on you. I went through a period where I blamed people, and maybe you went through that period, or maybe you're going through it now. Obviously, somebody, maybe you placing the blame over there, but you can't blame them any longer. Even if they are guilty for whatever you accuse them of doing or whatever they supposedly have done, you can't blame them. And not only in that, because this is not only about what somebody done to you. We can't blame our parents for our lack of progress. We can't blame the situations that we come from. We can't blame the people that we connected to. You can't even blame your spouse, right? You can't, it's just things that we being forced to look at right now. As a whole collective, we're being forced to look at ourselves and go inward to find the answers to the problems outside of yourself. So don't blame, the blame game is over, right? And some people you don't overtly blame people. You may not even blame people in your daily routine. It may not be on you to blame, but you might hold deep-seated blame. Like you may resent your upbringing. You may very well resent the people that you come from. Some people go through that. Like a lot of people actually go through that, where you get to a certain point in life where you really do resent your mom or your dad or either of them both, because you feel like they may have slighted you in a certain way. A lot of people go through that, especially enlightened people, because oftentimes generational curse breaker energies, people that's really meant to make a change, they have like this rocky upbringing, or they come through in a way where, you know, a lot of people don't recognize you for who you truly are. Even in your early stages, some people, you're awkward to them. You're awkward, you know. Some people, they may just didn't, you know, they may have not known how to take you, right? And this breeds resentment. As we get older, we look back and be like, man, if they would have did this, I could have made it further than where I am right now. And truth be told, we can't blame people any longer. It's a perfect opportunity to go within to make a change on the outside. Number 2, to maintain deliverance takes a willingness to free yourself. Now, I'm really getting an illustration and a visual of somebody. You may be, you could be going to church every Sunday and finding yourself getting prayer, or you could be doing certain rituals and you find that when you do this ritual, the energy, it feels a little bit more free, or it feels like you may be a little bit more unbound, right? This is called deliverance. Now, deliverance doesn't equate to freedom. In fact, when we are delivered from something, I just made a post about this on TikTok. In Matthew chapter 12, it speaks about unclean spirits when we free of them, habits, people, entities. If they took residency up with us, when we free ourselves of them, they are coming back. They don't just go away and be gone forever. Right? So to maintain deliverance, you have to be willing to free yourself on a continual basis. It's not the preacher laid hands on you one time and everything that was wrong with you was gone. You may have been delivered from it, but you have to maintain deliverance by having a willingness to free yourself. A lot of times it just comes about saying no, having the strength to say no. That's how a lot of people maintain deliverance. You got to say no to things. You can't take on the same things that you took on when you're trying to get somewhere. It's too much. It's overwhelming. Like, you got to say no. Surely you can't go back to getting high, or go back to promiscuous ways, or go back to this, whatever it is that you've been freed from. You can't go back and associate with it and go forward. It's too heavy. So to maintain the deliverance that you have, or the deliverance that God brings you, you got to have a willingness to free yourself. Number 3, this was somebody, I don't know. Walmart is draining your energy. Walmart is draining your energy, right? And when I wrote this download, I didn't only get Walmart. It was a couple things like DoorDash, different things. But these things, they begin to drain your energy. Money is a source of energy. And if you don't learn frugality with the money, it's going to always be running away from you. Places like Walmart, right? They drain your energy. It's like you go into Walmart, you get paid, you go into Walmart, you spend your money. You come out, you get the thing that you think you think you need a lot of things when you're in Walmart, so you get a lot of things. But when you leave, peep how your energy feels. Now you're reading the receipt, wondering what you can take back. So I say, beware of your energy when you go into Walmart, which is also your money. You know, your money, people lose money, they feel a certain type of way. Money is energy. Money is energy, and money does affect your energy. Money, lack of, having too much, all of these things, right? So somebody, just be mindful, right? Number 4, crush doubt through perseverance. First, I was going to write persistence, but then Spirit was like, nah, perseverance is stronger than persistence. Because being persistent with something still is kind of teeter-totting with doubt. Like, feeling like I got to keep going at it. Spirit says, crush doubt through perseverance. A determination to push forward. That's where perseverance starts at. And determination to go. Sticking to it. But first, the determination to stick to it. Number 5, and this is this one right here. I felt like this hit home for me. Now, I don't know about you. Some gave up on you, on the version of you that you gave up on yourself. So forgive them. Some people gave up on the version of you that you gave up on. So why not forgive them? Right? Think of how you was at one time, right? How we all were, right? Self-included. You were so hard to deal with at one time. You had tendencies, addictions, maybe habits, demeanor. Maybe you had a lot of things about you when people gave up on you. The version of you that you were, you gave up on that version of yourself. You had to, because you had to decide to change. So if you knew that you was a person that you know you needed refinement, you needed to change your ways, you needed to transform, you knew you did. So you gave up on being that person. Well, you can't be mad that people gave up on that version of you. You gave up on that version of you. So forgive people. Forgiveness creates energy to move forward. I swear, dude. I ain't lying to you. When you get that forgiveness and you reach that point where you really like, wow, I really have forgiven. You can move so forward so freely and be unbothered by whatever it was that was done. You know, sometimes when you offer true forgiveness, people look at you like they need forgiveness from you because that forgiveness is so authentic and it's so liberal that it really makes people be like, well, maybe I need to ask them to forgive me. You know, because forgiveness frees up space to move. Right? It does. All right, so we're going to jump into some what's the tea. And I think I'm going to justify this with the telepathy oracle. No tarot today, right? Sometimes tarot is too intense. And, you know, sometimes I need a break from it. You know, because, like, I'm a Libra. It's my archetype, right? You see the justice on my shirt? So sometimes when I read tarot, it becomes intense, right? And when I feel like it's too intense, I'm learning how to back away from it. Some people, you know, tarot brings you right into the life of people, right? So sometimes when I read, I can feel a shift in the energy, you know? So nevertheless, we're going to do this, right? This is a little more energy centered, right? So this can help you along the way. Real good advice. And to you, okay, that's good. I like that first card. Unbothered. And let's see what we got here. Into you ain't unbothered, ain't shit, right? Now, usually when I pull an ain't shit card, I feel like I'm talking about it, but I don't really feel like this is, it's just like ain't shit, you know, ain't shit, it fades you, you unbothered. Into you, good chemistry, great vibes, positive. So I feel like somebody, you around somebody and they appear to be really into you, which is really good coming from the What's the Tea deck, because there's usually a whole lot of karmic cards that pop out the What's the Tea deck. Good chemistry, great vibes, and positive. So I feel like somebody, you could even have a person that maybe you're able to get intimate with them. You know, those intimate conversations, you know, they call it pillow talking, right? I think that it's a little bit more than that. Like, because it's a difference when you're sitting down with somebody and you building than when you're sitting down with somebody telling all you other people's business and all that. I don't think this is the case. I think that maybe you have somebody, and it doesn't have, two people are actually laying in a bed on this card, but I also easily, in my clairs, I also easily can see two people on a platonic level that may just sit across from one another and chop it up. You may be in a space that's conducive to growth. Good chemistry is a wonderful thing to have. You know, good chemistry means that a dance of souls, right? It's when two souls are compatible. That's what I look at, like spiritual chemistry being amongst two people, because you have this phony kind of chemistry that the world promotes where, you know, you show up, everybody's dressed up and pretending. Not that. That's not. I'm talking about chemistry of, you know, when souls are compatible, that's when two people are willing to work on the darker aspects, right? And acknowledge them. Like, you know, when you're in a relationship where you can turn to somebody and say, you know, I don't like what you said to me. And it doesn't make them get defensive, it really makes them be like, well, what did I say? You know, and you can be heard and things can be worked out, right? That kind of energy right there, that's good chemistry. And what it does is it creates good vibes. And you know, I look at vibes as an energy that can just easily resonate and emanate from you, but that's your attracting power, believe it or not. What we call a vibe, that's what's attracting. Even when we use it, right? We use it, but we don't really look into what we're saying. When you say it's a vibe, it's a vibe. A vibe is an attracting power, all on its own. It's what attracts people, the vibes. It's what attract things, right? And when you got good vibes and positive energy, you know, you in a good place. So somebody, you need to really, really thank God for that. Unbothered, ain't shit, you know. I feel like that really feel, because that's the way we talk in Baltimore. And like I might say, somebody might say, you know, well, what's the problem? Ain't shit. I'm good. Ain't shit, man. Ain't nothing, but I'm good. You know, and I feel like this is a good energy for somebody to be in, because maybe you went through a time where it wasn't like this, right? So kudos to you. You got somebody in your presence, and they appear to be good for you, right? I love that. So let's get out some telepathy or advice and see what's going on. Allure. Consider the situation carefully, right? Like I said, allure and enter you, they tag teaming right here in the read, right? I feel like a strong chemistry between two people is happening right before my face, right? And Spirit wants you to consider the situation carefully. And you know why? Because Spirit doesn't want somebody to make the same mistake that you did the last time that you might have had this chemistry. Because this is, I feel like this is somebody's karma. It's dharma, because it's good. Dharma is good karma. I feel like you're in a dharmic rhythm. It's alluring and into you, but Spirit says consider it carefully, right? Don't begin to expect more out of something than what it really is at the same time, right? When you with a person or you with people, always remember, you can never look across at a person and think that you know everything about them because of what they reveal to you. That's an error, right? You have to use your superpower, and when you use it and you look a little deeper in your intuition, you gotta ask yourself, can I work with what I see beyond the surface? Because when we intuitive people gonna give you what they want you to have, but you're gonna see deeper. So when Spirit says consider the situation carefully, what Spirit is saying is, when you see what you see beyond what you're being shown, then you have to make a decision as to, can I deal with this? Can I deal with what I know is going to be revealed in this person? Because people hide things good, but not from psychic intuitives. You can't hide from a person that's really tapped in, because intuition shows us even what we don't want to see. And when we get mature, we can't deny it, right? That's the difference between an enlightened empath and a sleep empath. A sleep empath, they can deny what they see because they have sleep still. But when you awaken and you are empath, your intuition, it will bring you things that's undeniable. And at that point, you can't, thank you, Spirit. It's unwise to reveal to a person what you see on that level, because that can destroy your relationship. People don't like to be seen. They don't like to be looked into. Nobody likes it, right? I found that I don't even like it, right? Even as a medium, right? Somebody read into me one day, and I was like, whoa, I don't know, right? So like, I've learned, even from that experience, that what you see in others, when you look that deep, it's not that, it's not for them, okay? It's for you. It's for you to make a conscious decision from a mature level of a spiritually enlightened person, what you gonna do with the information you getting. It's not to run to them and be like, look, I see this in you and I know it's in you and it's gonna come out of you. So don't do all that because you're gonna destroy something, right? Okay, I'm bothered. Let's see. Reconciliation. Learn to reconcile with yourself. Yeah, and that's what I found, that that's when we like really unbothered. Like when self discovery kick in, it ain't a lot a person can tell you, you know, because that's truly unbothered energy. Like once you begin to know who you are, that's being unbothered in the most powerful way. Because now you can't be manipulated by things outside of you, because you know who you are. Your reconciliation with yourself, it brings this unbothered state, this unfettered energy where people that may stand and oppose you, they just don't know why they can't get in no more. It's been a reconciliation of self here. So it's like, once I wake up to myself, boom, I'm not susceptible to a lot of that other stuff that I was at one time. You either. So that's where the unbothered energy comes in. And when you unbothered, don't let people bother you because you unbothered. They will try to do that. Like, I'm over here, I'm unbothered. But you bothered by me being unbothered, so you want to come over here and bother me? Nah, not that, right? Beware of that, right? And it comes in the form of, they might call you and be like, I see you, where you been hiding? I see you out the way. I see you been off grid. I see you. Yeah, I'm unbothered. So don't bother me. You understand? Like that not saying be rude like that or nothing, right? And I know my words are direct, but it's the spirit I hold. Justice. When you unbothered, be unbothered and remain unbothered until you feel as though you want to be bothered. Don't let people bother you because they bothered because you unbothered. Like, and that's really how I be. Like, you know, ain't shit being clarified by a maze. Even if you feel lost, there's always a way through the maze, right? And that's resiliency. I said that at the beginning of my download, crushed doubt with perseverance. And that's what it is. Like, it's like, you know how when you in your maze and you in your bag and you figuring things out, and you got a lot of people, they on the outskirts and they looking at you, and what they want to do is, a lot of times they want to see, like, they want to look for areas to pick you apart at. Oh, they ain't say that word right. Oh, they ain't happen at that date. Oh, they don't know what they, and they want to throw your whole demonstration away because one detail is off, right? But that's the maze that we in. It's persistent. What I don't know, I'ma learn. Where I was wrong, I'ma get it right. But I'll be damned if I'ma let a person throw their energy in my maze. This is my maze, right? Like it says, even if you feel lost, there's always a way through the maze, which means that it's on you to figure it out. And I feel like you understand that. And it ain't, I feel like somebody in this ain't shit energy, and it's good because maybe it's like people used to be able to come in and now they can't. And it's like, nah, it's like, you know, I really feel, I feel the energy of a striver, you know, and I want you to strive. Don't ever let the things that you don't know, the mistakes that you may have made when you was at a certain level of growth, because truth be told, you could be saying something now that's different than what you were saying a year ago. And people could be like, but you said that. I did. But you know, wise men and women often change when in doubt. Understand that. That's law. So don't let people try to bond you in no certain way. It's about growth and development. You think I'm going to be saying the same thing I said when I was at that point of my growth? Of course things are going to change, right? So, keep that in mind. Like, all right. We got groupie energy out here, right? We got groupie energy. We got divination abuser. Okay, I see what's happening. And then we got a forcer. Real talk. All right, so we're going to talk about this persona that I feel coming out in these three cards. Groupie, divination abuser, a forcer. First of all, this is a person that's probably attracted to numbers. All right, groupies. Like the groupie energy, on the spiritual level, I feel it coming through. This could be the type of person that is like, they won't even listen to the truth unless it got big numbers. Them type of energies. Whereas though, they'll flock on anything that's popping. You ever seen somebody like that? Could be somebody like that in your energy. Groupie, divination abuser. Always on every other reading, up and down everybody page on YouTube, know all the readers, everybody on every read, right? Never really doing nothing for themselves, but groupie, divination abuser, right? And also, with this divination abuser, a lot of this been going on. And what this is people, they breaking laws spiritually and don't even know it. You know how? They all on YouTube under other people's zodiac signs, right? That's a powerful way for intuitive to get in spiritual trouble. Because people who got intuitive powers, you aren't supposed to do that. Because you using what people put in there to help their collective to gain insight on a person. Because you intuitive. That right there gets you in spiritual trouble. And a lot of people do that. They have the gift of intuition, lack pure discernment, but they have intuition. Again, most of them that do that, they have no discernment. Because if they could discern what they was doing, they would stay off of it. If you a Scorpio, you shouldn't be on Queen Yemayaya. You shouldn't be on, these people that have these pages where they putting forth their effort to help their own collective out. Then you got these intuitive Jezebels. They run around and they on every other reading but they own, figuring out what's going on with people. That's how a lot of people get the ups on a lot of us. I ain't gonna say y'all, I'm gonna say us. Because people done it to me too. So beware the divination abuser. You know how you can guard yourself against this? Stay connected to your protection. Your protection will protect you, even from an intuitive Jezebel. They be looking into something, and spirit be giving them something else. They be all wrong again. Long as you keep growing. The fundamentals of staying free from any evil that bound you is growth. Where there's spiritual growth or the Holy Spirit, pure Spirit of God, wherever that take residence at, can't nothing come in. Just know that. So long as you growing, you won't be where you know what growth does. Thank you, Spirit. When the intuitive Jezebels divination abuse on you, and they get your energy, if you growing, you won't be in the energy that they read anyway. That's why the spirits become slap them upside their head. The ancestors knock them upside their head because they in there wrong. So they never get a proper reading. Right? Enforcer. See, forcers do this. Forces things on you, forces their way in, uses force to get what they want. That's the divination abuser. They forceful, very forceful, right? Think about it. I want you to think about this on a spiritual level and how forceful this could be. If a person is willing to use divination to gain one up on you and then move things around in the world to affect you, that's a forceful and truly violent energy, spiritually. So don't play with this, right? Keep yourself grounded, and don't be a person that asks why. But why they do it? That's weakness. It's weakness in that. They do it because that's what they do. That's all. That's all we need to know. There's no excuse to why they do it. There's no reasoning behind it, or none of that. None of that is gonna do anything but make us think in a weak place. We gotta think strong, y'all, and we gotta think like this. People do what they do because that's what they do. So we gotta do what we gotta do. Why? Because that's what we do. And if it hurt, sorry, but not really sorry. Before I allow things that people do to hurt me any longer, I'm going to do what I got to do. And if it causes hurt, then it means that something was meant to be broken. Because I can't, you can't let your empathy draw you into a place where you continue to let people crush you because you thinking weak and you asking, why is this happening to me? Why are they doing this? Why? Because that's what they do. Again, they driven by a different spirit. The more that you get weak, the more that they gain laughter. And we don't want to be a laughing stock in the spirit for predators, spiritual predators, destiny swappers, and all of that. Whatever. I don't know why that, but yeah, all of them kind of people, we don't want to be a victim for them no more. So we got to break out the weakness of asking why and just know that it is what it is. Attract, rekindle, enlightenment. Attract and rekindle enlightenment. I feel like these particular 3 cards is for a person. Maybe you lost your excitement, your motivation. It could be low, and maybe you stopped learning, right? At some point, one thing about your journey, things get dull. See, what applied then may not apply now. And I feel like you could be moving in a little bit of knowledge that's a little dull. You might need to refine your enlightenment, because it says attract, rekindle. And how do you attract and rekindle your enlightenment? You just get back to it. It's not complicated. It's not no whole ritual that you got to do. You pick up where you left off at. If God gave you something, right, the world can't take it away from you. So don't let the world convince you that it can be stripped from you. It can't. It's right where you left it at. It's right where you left it at. Gifts, they given without repentance. So if you giving a spiritual gift, it ain't going nowhere. Only way it's going to go, only thing you can do with a spiritual gift is block it. Once it's sown into you, your energetic field, like I was going to say your DNA, but it's deeper than DNA. A spiritual gift is connected to your energetic field. The soul is part of you. It's a part of you. So don't let nobody convince you lost your gift. Nope, you didn't. And if you think you did, that's only in your mind. How can you lose something that you didn't even find it? It was given unto you. So if it was given unto you, that means that it's given unto you in a way, it's placed inside of you in a place that's so deep in you that you don't even have knowledge of. So therefore, Don't let the things in everyday life, spiritual adversaries, woes that are wicked, don't let none of that convince you that your gift is gone. It's a lie. Gifts come without repentance, meaning God not gonna give you nothing and take it back. It don't even happen like that. The only thing that we gotta do is attract the rekindle. Pick up a pen and a paper. Go into the Bible. Go into the Quran, the Injil, the Torah. I don't know. The Parak keys. I don't know. But go where you need to go to rekindle your enlightenment. Because your motivation, right? Your motivation. We got the cock blocking card out here, right? In their head. Too busy winning. Cock blocking in their head. So I feel like with this is the kind of energy that will move towards people that are moving toward you. So you can have a cock blocking in their head kind of energy, and what they could be doing is they could easily be scoping who moving towards you and then trying to move toward them in a cock blocking way. Maybe to fill their head with gossip. People do that, right? Even if they're not conversating with them, sometimes people do it from an energetic point. They do. Like, people see you doing something, and they'll see you engage with a certain person. And the minute that you engage with that person, they'll go right behind you, move toward that person, go on they post, like something, try to start with some conversation. A lot of those plays, they cock blocking energy in their head. And then you got these people right here, right? Overthinking, stress, overanalyzing. See, you can't help when somebody chooses to put you on a pedestal, that's on them. Whether it be a good pedestal or the bad kind. Because see, we know about people placing people on a pedestal, looking up to them, but it's another pedestal that people place you on, right? And it's the pedestal of envy, the pedestal of hatred. You become the object of somebody's envious nature. You become the object, you sit, meaning when it come to envy, you set up there. They envy you the most, right? You sat up there in somebody's overthinking, stress, overanalyzing mind. They done put you on that pedestal. And you don't got nothing to do with it. Period. Because sometimes when people do that, they have a breakdown. And they'll come back to you. And they'll be in this overly apologetic energy. And you get to thinking like, did they do a whole lot of stuff to me that I don't even know about? Because they mighty apologetic. Well, what it be sometimes is that they done put you on a pedestal and been behind your back doing all kind of things, right? Because you the object of so many different things for people, right? And not all of them good, like I said. Some people put you on a pedestal and think like, you have something that they want, right? And then some people put you on a pedestal and it's just not good. It's like you become the object of their hatred. You know, I'm saying like a visual, like you could be that picture on somebody's wall that they throw darts at, right? Maybe not literal, but spiritual. Every time they want to throw a dart, your picture is there. Right? It really going to stress them out. What's going to stress them out most, low, is that you're too busy winning. That's the kicker right there. That right there is the kicker right there. When you got those cock blocking energies and you know, yeah, my spell workers, them too. I ain't gonna forget about them. You know when people do spells on you and they sitting back and they just waiting to see what happens. It be groups of them sometime, or be one of them, or two, three, or groups, like I said. But sometimes people do their work and they sit back and they waiting for their work to come into fruition in your life. They want to see if you're getting skinny. You know, they want to see if you nervous. If you online, they want to see if you're nervous. They want to see if you angry. They just want to see what's going on. But when you too busy winning, what you cause them to do, it turns into stress for them. Why? Because that's the way that God do it. That's the only thing I can say. That's how God gonna do it. Evil gonna make they move. God gonna make his move. Each and every time. God gonna win. Every time. It's like a chess game that evil can't win. It might be up. Might take a few pieces off the board. But it never wins. And unless you stop believing that. That's the trick. See, the battleground of all spiritual warfare is in your mind. That's the battle, the battleground. The results show up in everyday existence. But the battlefield of spiritual warfare is always the mind, right? Especially when you're dealing with black magic. Okay, spirit. When you're dealing with black magic, Santeria magic, voodoo black magic, all kind of magic, witchcraft, witchery, conjuring, Masonic magic, when you're dealing with all of these type of magics, right? The key to all of this stuff working on you is to get you to believe that the shit is working. That's how it works against you. The key is to get you to believe that it works against you. That's why most people fall victim, because they don't have no foundation where they can resort and read a word, a scripture, the Bible. They don't have nothing that they believe in where they can they can go to that and see that this shit don't really work. When people don't know that it works, they get fearful. Somebody do something at me. That's why it's working. That's exactly why it worked. You got to stand up against that shit. Don't no spirit run your life. Your will. Your will is what runs your life. Your will. Your willpower. You got the willpower. Trust me. You got the will. The book of Enoch, right? This how much power we got. And I'm going to talk about how much power we got. And I'm going to give you an insert from the book of Enoch, right? The book of Enoch says that when the Enochs, the giants, the watchers, the fallen angels, particularly the fallen ones, right? When they fell, we judged them, us. You know King David in the Bible, you know why David was so significant and why every magician in the world at the time, they was afraid of David. You know why all of the magicians was afraid of David. Every last magician throughout Egypt, they was afraid of David. You know why? Because David slayed Goliath. And you know what Goliath was? Goliath was a master warlock. That race of giants, they was real versed at mind control, telekinesis. They had power. They were giants. They was directly, when David slew that giant, see, because Goliath had brothers that they don't tell us about. And David slew all of them. Or David's tribe slew them. See, when David killed Goliath, he cut off a supernatural power. He made the giant, he shamed the giants. Their bloodline dominated the regions. They dominated the world. When you look at the monolithic structures and all of that stuff that they can't explain that's been built, the giants built it. They did it. They did it. That's where the technology from the pyramids came. It came through those lineages. That's why when you see the hieroglyphs in Egypt, it's always a small man looking up to a big, they looking up to the giants, and the ones who fathered the giants was the watchers. But guess what? We judge all of them. Men, your will is stronger than any magic that can be thrown at you. Because what you fighting against, when you fighting against magic and you fighting against spells, you fighting against the power of these giants. See what happened, again, the book of Enoch, people need to really read that. When these giants were wiped out, I'm talking about the divine seed of giants. It's still remnants of their race, but they not powerful. I'm talking about giants that had telekinesis. They had abilities, 6 fingers and all of, like, they were different. When they got wiped out and it reached heaven and God made the final judgment, what he did was he bound the watchers that created them. He bound some of them in the river Euphrates. He bound some of them by Shechem. They were bound. These are the powers that move behind spell work and magic and all of that. And I say that to say, when they were bound, the sentence was handed down by Enoch. They was actually begging Enoch to go before God and revise God's decision. God made a decision. All right, ban the Anak, ban them from existence. The only way that they can exist in this realm is through spirit. Their physical vessels is bound. And you see it all over the world. They got them frozen in stone and all of that. Look around, do your studies. They got them everywhere around the world. You got giants. They frozen in stone. They all kind of stuff, right? But there's a different level of history. But I'm saying all of that to make a point. These very energies were defeated and judged by us through our will and our connection to the Most High. So you don't have to fear that shit. You got to be aware of it, but you don't have to fear it. It's persistent. Evil is persistent. Spell work is persistent. But when you fear it, you're defenseless against it. It's going to work perfectly against you. So don't fear it. Okay. That's pretty much it. I'm going to tap out because I'm wanting to go too deep into certain things, and I feel like I'm already too deep in, because I know a lot of the people that's connected to the channel, maybe they don't really read a lot of history, maybe like I do. So I try to just throw different things out there in hopes that people will go investigate themselves, right? But nevertheless, I don't be wanting to get so deep to as though a person just lose all relativity. So with that being said, what I will say is you have the power in your will to stand against any evil, right? As long as you align your will with God, that authority, it will follow you. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to tell you, one way to do it, cry out from your heart. When you feel like you up against things that you can't win against, when you feel like things are overwhelming you, cry out from a place in you and cry out with the mindset of, God, whoever you are, reveal yourself to me. Because every holy book, I said this morning, it tells us that the power of heaven will move toward the cry. A cry. When you cry out of yourself, that's surrender. Not standing up and saying, there's an evil on me, so I'm going to go do a magic trick to get it up off me. You're going to go in deeper. Some doors ain't meant to be open. When you feel those pressures on you, learn how to cry out. And if you know God in any way and you forgot him, cry out in the way that you used to know him. If you don't know who God is, cry out anyway. Because if you cry out with sincerity, the Most High gonna meet you there. What God really is going to meet you at that point of your cry. That's a prayer that the devil can't respond to. Not a sincere cry. The devil can't come pick that up in the spirit realm. It's too hot for him. Imagine it being too hot for the devil. But it is. Your sincerity is only meant to be handled by heaven. So when you put sincerity in your cry, it's not going to draw an evil response. It's going to resist evil. We love you too, Ash. It's good to see you. Glad to see you here. Feel your energy around. I love you all as well. That was the message. I'm about to tap out of here. My job is done. If you would like to be, generous to the page, the information is on the page if you choose to do so. Like, share, subscribe. Otherwise, we love you all. We see you soon. God bless.